Hey guys, so today we're going to be continuing our reading unit in historical fiction, but we're going to be shifting our focus into determining themes. So just to kind of get a good start to our lesson, we're going to just review what the goal is for today. So the goal is that we are going to learn how to develop an interpretation of a book by determining a theme, and we're going to get into what exactly that means. As we're working today, I'm looking for you to develop an interpretation or an understanding of a book by analyzing the details. So, going back and rereading. And then I'm also looking for you to identify the details that support the theme of the story that you come up with. So, developing an interpretation, today I want to remind you that once you have paused to develop an interpretation of a book, you almost wear that interpretation like a pair of glasses, like a lens. So you keep that theme or that idea in mind. And as you keep that in mind, you go back to reread in the text. And then before you know it, the details or evidence that support that idea kind of start jumping back at you. And you might start thinking, wow, that detail goes with my idea. Or if you're having a hard time finding details that go with your theme or idea, you might start thinking, this makes me think something different, and then you might develop a different idea. It's all about understanding and growing the ideas that you come up with. So let's get started. What is a theme? You may remember that a theme is the big idea or the life lesson the author wants you to take away after reading a story. A story can have more than one theme, and it can have a couple ideas all wrapped up in one theme. And we'll get to just that in a minute. To help you identify the theme, you can ask yourself these questions after reading a story. So you can start thinking about, was there a problem or issue in the story? I always find this one helpful. Did the characters learn something or did they experience something? And then, how did the characters' feelings or actions change in the story? And some common themes, and these are things that come up in a lot of different stories, and you might recognize some already. But again, a theme is a life lesson, something the author wants you to learn or take away. So unlike the main idea or the summary of a story, themes are a little bit more general. And what that means is it can apply to a lot of different people. It can apply to a lot of different stories. So for example, a common theme could be love, hard work, acceptance, family, overcoming challenges, just to name a few. And as you see here, there's a few more like friendship, courage, respect, honesty. There's so many different themes or life lessons. So you might be thinking already, wow, friendship. I can think of a few books that show that theme. I'm already thinking of one. I wonder if you can guess. We read it in the beginning of the school year. If you were thinking The Tiger Rising, you're right. Because I already was thinking, wow, friendship. That made me think of The Tiger Rising because we were able to experience the characters and how they develop different friendships. And we're actually going to talk about that right now. Well, in a minute. So just to kind of review theme again, a theme can be said in one word or a few sentences. It is important to talk about a theme of a story as a sentence, not just as one word. So it can be said as one word, but it's important when you're talking about it, you kind of start describing it. You can start asking yourself questions like, what is my book teaching me and why? Themes or big ideas have more power when you think of them as claims about the world rather than just a book. If you can use words like kids or people rather than specific character names, this helps to see how an idea applies to other characters and the real world. So, how can we practice this? What we're going to be doing today is after you go back and reread a part of a text, you're going to pause to start growing some ideas, which we've been working on all week. And then you're going to start thinking about a theme or a life lesson and start saying in your mind, this story is teaching us that, or this story I'm learning, or this story is teaching me. And after you do that, you'll start to realize how quickly you're going to be coming up with some new ideas. It is important to think about these new ideas by thinking, does this fit with the idea I've already developed? And what that really means is, are your ideas all making sense? Is it something you really can go back into your text and find evidence to support? So let's try. So going back to what I mentioned earlier, I'm going to think about the text, The Tiger Rising. And as I went back to and start thinking about it with that lens in mind, what have I learned? What do I think the author wants me to learn? Right away, I started thinking of the idea of friendship. So as I went back to reread The Tiger Rising, that was the lens I had in mind. Friendships or relationships can help you overcome your own obstacles in life. Would you agree that's a life lesson? So that's great that I came up with that theme, but now I need to go back and start supporting. I need to start growing that idea bigger. So right now, I didn't necessarily start coming up with my response. I just started coming up with the details. So I started thinking of the different friendships or relationships that came up in The Tiger Rising. For example, I thought of Rob and Willie Mae, the employee at the Kentucky Star Motel. They started to develop a strong bond. She gave Rob lots of advice and she helped him with his feelings. So I thought that showed a really nice connection to friendship. But then the one that I really kept thinking about was Rob and Sistine and how they become great friends, and she helps Rob open up about his personal life and help him to become more comfortable and less shy. For example, when Rob meets Sistine, the girl who shows her feelings as readily as Rob hides his. So she was really outgoing and Rob was really shy. But then as they learn to trust each other and ultimately become friends, Rob and Sistine prove that some things like memories and heartaches and tigers can't be locked up forever. So that was just some ideas just to get my mind going. I just started growing my idea back to my theme of friendships and relationships can help overcome obstacles in life. So let's take a look at how I can now connect this to a little bit more evidence. So again, I'm bringing up that chart that we've been working on all week, ways to push our thinking. So if I want to connect my ideas from this area here, just from my thinking, if I want to connect my theme, my big idea to what it's teaching me, I can start doing that by using these prompts. The important thing about this is I'm realizing, or this connects to. You guys should be pretty familiar with these prompts from this chart. So I want to show you now how I took my big idea, my theme, life lesson, friendships can help you overcome obstacles in your life. Or if I changed the wording around, I could have said that friends are important to help you get through hard times. It's all the same idea. But I want to show you how I took this big idea and connected it to text evidence. So this is the process in which I was thinking about before I came up with my response, which is right here. So let's see the process before I got to this point. So the first thing I did was ask myself questions. What is my book teaching me and why? So this story is teaching me that friendships, friendships or relationship help you overcome your own obstacles in life. And that became my theme. So my next step was identifying my theme. I started to think about a word to develop the theme, and I started to think, what is a life lesson you can learn from this story? Then I went back and I started to find my evidence. And I started to grow my idea by using my phrases from my chart. So when it's your turn today, you're going to start asking yourself some questions. What am I learning from this text? What is the story teaching me? What's the life lesson? And once you have that big idea, you're going to keep that lens. You're going to make that into almost like you're wearing a pair of glasses. That's your new lens, that theme. And you're going to go back into your text and find evidence to support it. But the most important part here is when you're going back to find evidence, you are using these phrases to connect them together. That way it makes sense. And I want to show you how when I did that, how nice and cohesive, meaning it flowed together, my response came. So this is just a theme I came up with for The Tiger Rising. There are plenty of other themes. We could have picked the theme love. We could have picked the theme courage. But I chose to stick with friendship. So I want you to notice the bolded letters that are in black. Those are all of my connecting prompts from ways to push our thinking to help me connect my ideas to my text evidence that all support my theme. A theme in this story is that friendships or relationships are important to have and help you overcome your own obstacles in life. This connects to the text because Rob and Sistine become great friends, and she helps Rob open up about his personal life and help him become more comfortable and less shy. For example, when Rob meets Sistine, a girl who shows her feelings as readily as Rob hides his, as they learn to trust each other and ultimately to be friends. Rob and Sistine prove that some things like memories and heartaches and tigers can't be locked up forever. This makes me realize in my own life, it is important to have friendships with people I can learn to trust and be myself with. It can help me overcome problems I may have because my friends might be going through similar struggles too and can give me advice. This connects to when they first meet, they don't like each other, but as they start sharing their life stories, they start a good friendship. Sistine eventually helps Rob open his suitcase of emotions. This makes me think that the theme friendship is an important lesson that can help teach us all a lot about overcoming our own obstacles or hard times. So I want you guys to realize here what I did to push my thinking even further is right in the middle where I said this makes me realize in my own life, not only did I make a connection to the theme and the book, I also made a connection to my own life. So if you're trying to take your writing, your response to reading to the next level, make a connection to your own life. How can you apply this theme in your own life? Or maybe you've experienced the theme that you identified. So it's really important to make sure that your evidence is strong. That way you can continue to grow your ideas and build connections, not only with your text, but with yourself. So today you are going to try, there's on our Google Classroom, there's a Google form, and you're going to submit your work there. And what you're going to do is revisit Star of Fear, Star of Hope, and start thinking about the details and the characters. So as you get that in your mind, start considering some ideas to grow. Then you're going to look at this detail here. Helen said, sometimes you say things you don't really mean, things you're sorry about for a long time afterward. Now I'm old and I still feel sorry about it. So I'm giving you a detail I want you to focus on, and I want you to think about a theme or life lesson that you can come up with that supports this. You can use the common themes you see here in our chart, and if you see one that applies to that detail, tell me why. Why does that detail support family, if it does or doesn't? Why does that detail maybe support friendship? It could. I want you to tell me what theme or life lesson, and even if your life lesson or theme is not on this chart, that's perfectly fine too. I want you to develop a theme and then go back and find evidence and use that ways to push your thinking chart to connect your evidence, your theme, and even to your own personal life.